And hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I know a lot of you guys like my story time videos, and this is one I wanted to share with you guys to kind of, well, because all of my stories won't be hunky-dory or whatever like that, and I know that there are some maybe stories that could maybe people relate to or something like that. I don't know, but I just thought that this one would be something very interesting for, you know, to have a discussion further in the comments. But before I begin, I just want to say this is not the easiest video to make, and that this is not to offend anybody. This is not to make anybody feel uncomfortable or whatever like that. So I'll just say viewer discretion is advised. If you might be sensitive to this type of topic, please click out of the video. I don't want any of that. And yeah, so let's just get into it. So I'm gonna be honest, a lot of this story I don't really remember, only because my brain did block out a lot of it, and I don't blame myself for that, but what do you know, it happens. So okay, so I'm one of those people that really gets uncomfortable about being in large spaces by myself. Usually when I'm home, I don't like to be by myself here because it's just too open of a space for me to be alone. It kind of freaks me out. And a few months ago, I was home alone. And, you know, my sister was at work, my parents were out at a party or something. I didn't really want to go out, so I stayed home. And I had fallen asleep to a movie. And I have always had a history of having dreams that were very violent or weird or out of the ordinary. But this one in particular really messed me up. So I fell asleep and I had a dream that someone killed my entire family in front of me. So basically what happened is, in my dream, I was asleep while I was asleep in my dream. Does that make sense? So I was sleeping in my dream. So my dream was that I was sleeping in my bed and then I heard like a banging at my front door. So I immediately woke up, still in dream, woke up, and I opened up the door to say, like, to go out and say, Mom, Dad, like, you know, thinking that my family was here. Mom, Dad, like, where are you? And I didn't get a response. So then I walk further out of my hallway. If you guys have seen some of like my morning routine or something, you kind of see the layout of my house. When I walk into the hallway, you know, there's like this open area and you see down is the front door. So I went over to the balcony, and then all of a sudden these two men barged through my front door. And I can't see their face. They're all masked, and one guy has is like, he's like lighter skinned, and I remember a lot of their features, but I guess that's not really important. So they barged into the house, and I think I froze in that moment. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go, like what to think or something, and so I froze. And then one of them runs up to try to catch me because he sees me after I'm just like frozen after they barge into the door. The other had like gone down into like my family room, I guess, to maybe like steal our stuff or something. And so then he runs up to the stairs, and I scream and run into my room, lock the door, and I can't remember what it is I did, but I think I just locked the door and just like went into my bed. Unfortunately, he was able to barge through my door, and he grabbed me. And so in my dad's office, we have a wheelie chair. So he grabbed the chair and duct taped me to the chair. And I remember being so scared. I was screaming. My heart was beating, whatever like that. And in this dream, my parents were actually home at the time, so they actually slept through that whole initial ordeal for I don't know what reason. And I remember that so they wheeled me into the hallway, into my chair, and set me like right in the middle of the hallway. And since my sister's room is right across, so they went into my sister's room and like picked her up. She was struggling, whatever like that, and they just slit her throat right in front of me as I'm sitting there in the chair, and I freaked out. I had no idea. Like I like, even in the dream, I was still wondering if this was like, if this really happened, if it, like, you know, if I'm seeing it for really like what it is. And I knew there was nothing I could do. I was still in that chair. She was like on the floor, still bleeding out, and I was in shock. And then what they did is they turned me around to the other side of the hallway, which is where my parents' room is, and they went in, and one of the guys grabbed my mom, the other guy grabbed my dad, and they pretty much did the same thing, but they shot my dad and then slit my mom's throat, and then they were both, everybody was just on the floor dying. And after that, you know, when everybody's dead, they left through the front door and then just left me there, just sitting in the chair. And they just left me there sitting in the chair. And in that moment, that is when I woke up. So I woke up from the dream, and when I tell you guys, I was drenched in sweat. My entire bed was soaking wet, and I was screaming and running out of my room. And then I remember booking it out of my room to try to see if their bodies were on the floor. I don't know, but and I'm thinking, you know, they're gonna be there, and they weren't. And I remember I initially just went right to my mom's room, and I started bawling and telling her everything that happened. And I had a panic attack, essentially. I was just like, Mom, oh my God, I thought you guys were dead, and blah, blah. And I couldn't even handle it. And I literally slept in their bed that night because I couldn't handle it. And yeah, I think the entire night I probably slept like 20 minutes because I just kept thinking that this really happened, even though my parents are right next to me. I'm sleeping here in the bed with them, but just like, this isn't real. They're not real. This is, you know, my brain playing tricks on me. This is like, it messed me up, guys. It literally messed me up. And yeah, so, I know this wasn't a very happy story time, but the reason I wanted to make it is because I really want to know if there's anybody out there that's ever had very vivid like violent dreams before, because it's not something that I like about myself, because I do have very out of the blue dreams where things like this will happen, and I just really want to know if anybody has ever had that happen. This one in particular is probably the worst one I've ever had in my life, and it really exacerbates my fear of open spaces in the dark, you know, things like that by myself, and it's not very easy to even come back from that. So yeah, so okay, so this was a lot. I'm sorry for bringing this up on you guys, but I thank you for listening, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.